Before I begin this story, there's one thing I need to say. If you ever see something in the woods that isn't afraid of you, you should be afraid of it. The story you're about to hear is about the night I learned that not all hunters are human. And the question you'll wait until the end for is, why did that thin man in the woods know my name? The answer comes exactly at the end. Now, let's go back to the beginning of the trip. My name is Lucas Porter. I'm 18 years old, and I went on a trip with 3 of the closest people in my life. My best friend, Colin, his girlfriend, Anne, and the girl I liked, Megan. We had just graduated, and we felt like the whole world belonged to us. I brought my dad's gun, a Taurus G2C, but I honestly thought I'd never need it. We planned to spend the weekend in the Ozark forest, see waterfalls, take pictures, and escape real life for a while. We thought it would be a normal trip, but we were wrong. Very wrong. The biggest mistake of our lives. Around noon on the first day, as we stepped off the main trail, Anne suddenly stopped and said, "Guys, there's someone there. That man, he's watching us." We turned around. There was a man standing between the trees, completely still, medium height, dark hoodie, head slightly tilted, but his eyes were locked on us. I didn't look away, and neither did he. Then, in a single moment, he ran, not toward us, but away, with a speed that didn't look normal. Colin shouted, "Hey, get back here, asshole!" But I knew from that exact moment, this wasn't just some random guy. This was a beginning. Hours later, when we finally reached the waterfall, everything felt calm again. At least, that's what we thought. Until Megan grabbed my arm and whispered, "Lucas, that woman, she's watching us." I turned around. A woman stood there, but not like any woman I've ever seen. Tall, somewhere between 195 and 200 centimeters. Thin, unnaturally thin. A long neck, wild tangled hair, and eyes that didn't blink. I said, "Mom, is something wrong?" She didn't answer. She didn't move. Just stared. When Colin yelled, "We're armed!" the woman simply turned around and walked away. No fear, no rush, not even a glance back. As if the only thing she needed was for us to notice her. We should have left right then, but we didn't. We were young, stupid, and we stayed. If you're still here and you followed the story this far, please like the video, because what comes next is darker than anything you're expecting. This was only the beginning of the hell we walked into. At our first campsite, the night actually started normal. We cooked food, laughed. Colin got drunk and fell in the dirt. And Megan and I joked in the tent, until a sound echoed through the trees. Laughing. Not a drunk laugh, not an animal laugh. Something between the two. I yelled, "Colin, was that you?" And from the darkness, Colin shouted back, "No, Lucas, I heard it too." Every drop of blood in my veins turned cold. I grabbed the gun, burst out of the tent, and fired 3 shots into the air. Footsteps began running, fast, multiple people. None of us slept that night. The next morning, we all agreed to head back toward the trail, but we didn't make it far before night fell again. And the second night was the night I saw death. Around 3 a.m., I stepped out of the tent for a moment, gun in hand, headlamp on. On my way back, I heard rustling. I lifted the light, and he was there, the man from the first day, the one in the dark hoodie. But this time, long oily hair, a sharp bony face, skin covered in dirt and eyes way too wide, and in his hand, a machete. He didn't hesitate. He didn't speak. He charged. Fast, faster than a human should. I fired, shot after shot, emptied the whole magazine. He screamed, not like a man, but like something tearing apart inside him. He collapsed. Not dead, just down. I shouted, "Get up! Grab your stuff! We're leaving!" We ran. Didn't fold the tents. Didn't pack anything. 3 miles in 1 hour. But the part I couldn't shake. When I fired the last shot, he screamed, "Lucas, why?" I had never told him my name. You're probably wondering the same thing I was. How did that man know my name? It didn't make sense, not yet. Before we get to that answer, I want you to guess. In the comments, tell me what you think he was. A wild man? A cult member? Something not human? I want to hear your theories. Now, let's go back to the nightmare. When we finally reached the parking area, we thought we were safe. We locked the doors, covered the windows, tried to sleep until sunrise. But around 5 a.m., something tapped on the window. Tap, 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 Colin whispered. Lucas, no one gets out of the car. I slowly pulled the jacket off the glass, just enough to see outside. And I froze. 10 people. Thin, dirty, with long hair, wide eyes, and faces that looked almost identical. 3 held sticks, 2 had knives, and in front of them, the tall woman from the waterfall. She stepped closer, lowered her head, and with a voice that didn't sound human, she said, "Lucas, we're not done." None of us screamed. We couldn't. We were locked in place. Then, she raised her hand, and all of them stepped back, slowly, silently, one by one disappearing into the trees. We waited until sunrise before driving away. So when we finally made it back to town, I thought the nightmare was over. But nightmares don't end just because you cross a city line. Sometimes they follow you. I couldn't stop thinking about that woman, her height, her eyes, the way the others obeyed her. So I started digging into the history of the Ozark forests, old archives, police reports, missing person cases, anything I could find. And then I found it, a report from 1983 about a hidden commune deep inside those woods. The Hollow Ones lived completely off the grid, raised children to look the same, avoided outsiders, and worshipped a tall woman with an abnormally long neck. They believed she had the vision of the forest, the ability to find anyone who entered her territory. But the part that stopped my heart, a list, 4 names, teens who were chased in that same area back in 1999. The last name on the list, Lucas Porter, my name. But the report wasn't about me. It was about a boy my age who disappeared 25 years ago. Suddenly everything made sense. The man with the machete calling my name. Lucas. Why? He thought I was him, the boy who escaped them, and they believed I had come back.